Hello, my price-conscious friends. I have a perhaps less fun than usual video today where we're going to be talking about a new line of Kirby Air Riders amiibo. This was announced in the recent Nintendo Direct, the September Nintendo Direct, where they had a small section about Kirby Air Riders. They announced that a new Direct is coming at some point in the future to announce more things about the game, as well as the fact that there is going to be a line of amiibo releasing for Kirby Air Riders, which is pretty exciting. If you look at them, they are specialized versions of amiibo where you can swap the characters from one machine to another. So you can put Kirby on the Warp Star that he comes with, or you can swap him with Bandana Waddle Dee's Wing Star machine. So that's a fun feature. These figures function very similarly to the Smash Bros. Amiibo in that they can be trained as a figure player in the game and then taken to another copy of the game. So if you take a Kirby on a Warp Star, train it at your house, and then go to your friend's house and put it in their game, you can fight against it or something like that. You can fight the figures against each other. So it's a fun bonus feature, nothing mind-blowing, not really anything you need to have in order to enjoy the game fully, but a nice bonus if you can't afford it. Haha. I gotta say, shout out to Bandana Waddle Dee getting his first ever amiibo. We did get a standard Waddle Dee amiibo with the last line of Kirby amiibo. He's just a standard one though. And this new one, it's Bandana Waddle Dee, and god damn it, it's overdue. The character has been neglected in certain 2D fighting games, so glad to see him get his due with Kirby Air Riders. So I reacted to this presentation. I posted a bit of it to the main channel, and then the full version is on the second channel. And in it, I took note that these things are probably going to be very expensive. Oh, that's gonna be really expensive. We're getting a whole line. Oh, I'm gonna go bankrupt. And unfortunately, I was proven right when a Target listing came out that put these two amiibo at $50, which is frankly too much for these little interactive figurines. That's a pretty crazy pricing model. Personally, at that price, that's I think too much to really justify a purchase, especially when the game is at a premium pricing model of $70. The first Kirby game ever to be priced that high, not counting Kirby Star-Crossed World, which is basically that base game with $20 of DLC. So in terms of just a base game being priced that much, this is new for Kirby. Unfortunately, that's going to happen, I think, with essentially every main Nintendo series, like the new Mario Tennis is $70, Donkey Kong Bonanza was $70, Mario Kart World was $80, which is even more insane. I'm sure the new Fire Emblem will be $70. The new Mario Galaxy remasters are $70, which isn't even a fully Switch 2 game. That's a Switch 1 game that gets some enhancements on Switch 2. But that's $70 too. So this is just the new state of things, is that the games are that much. Make of that what you will. Definitely not the best situation. You know, whether or not that's worth it to you is definitely very subjective. To me, for Kirby Air Riders, based on what they've shown, it looks like it is, but I'm also a massive fan of the original, so I'm biased in favor of it. And if you're not, it's probably a harder sell. So how did we get from that original line of Smash Bros. Amiibo, which were $13, as I recall, now to the Kirby Air Riders Amiibo, which granted are swappable, but are $50 as well. So those original Smash Bros. Amiibo and then most subsequent Amiibo were priced at $13, which I think at the time was an okay deal. Not great, not terrible. The quality of the figures has been decent. Mostly some of the more complicated figures come out looking a little weird. Like we got Palutena here, she's got kind of a weird face. Some of the other more highly detailed characters, yeah, have that same sort of issue. The more simplistic characters like Kirby, he looks great. Harder to mess up, but even still looks good. We then got, a couple of years later, a general amiibo price increase to about $17, which definitely, I think, makes it a harder sell. Not nearly as much of an impulse purchase. For the Switch 2 generation, when the amiibo for that were announced, specifically the Tears of the Kingdom amiibo, those were priced at $20, so even higher than that $17 price point. And then there were the Street Fighter amiibo, which are, I believe, bigger and more detailed, priced at $30. So we're getting really high up in prices there. to the point where I think a lot of those are not really worth it. Even if it's a character you really want as a figurine, it's becoming unreasonable. And then we get into fun tariff time, my favorite segment, making a triumphant return. US President Donnie has been making some fun economic policies, which we all love and are benefiting United States consumers greatly, in that they are raising the price on many goods and products. So beneficial to all, I'm sure. And as a result of that, we got a price increase on many Nintendo accessories, Nintendo consoles as well, seeing a price increase. The base Nintendo Switch versions all getting price increases, bringing them closer to that $450 Switch 2 price. The Switch 2 itself did not get a price increase, but as far as I can think of, it's essentially the only modern console being sold that did not get a price increase yet. Honestly, I would not rule out a Switch 2 price increase. I think that's likely to come. I'm concerned about that for sure, and kind of glad I got it at launch in that case, because if it goes up higher, it'll be even more crazy of a price proposition. The base price of the Switch 2 isn't the worst thing ever, like it's really high, but I think for what you get for that, it's probably justifiable in a lot of cases. But if it gets higher than that, it's going to be harder and harder to make that argument, and I think it very well might, and in all likelihood probably will. I think it'll stick around at its current price for this holiday season to drive momentum, and then after that, going into next year, yeah, I'd be worried about it going up even further. So that's not going to be fun. This is something I really thought was very likely to happen last year when Old Man Donald won that election. I thought, he's talking up these tariffs quite a lot. And you know, one of the things I do care about, seeing as I have a YouTube channel devoted to talking about it, is video games. So these video game consoles that are coming out, namely the Switch 2, and things related to it, that could see price increases, that could kind of mess things up a bit. And lo and behold, your boy was right. Good stuff. So those Tears of the Kingdom standard amiibos got a price increase from $20 to $30, which is pretty wild. And the Street Fighter amiibo are even worse, because they go from $30 to $40, which is, wow, that's a hell of a lot for a little plastic amiibo. Some more recent amiibo, the Donkey Kong Bonanza one, which looked cool, but at $30 and it doesn't really do much in the game, not great. So it's sticking to that $20 going to $30. I assume if tariffs had not been in effect, that would have stayed at $20. So I really do think that tariffs exacerbated a already bad situation. Like, that's already too much for an amiibo, but then you stack on the tariffs. So then we go to the Kirby amiibo, and these, I think, in a pre-tariff world, assuming those had not happened, might have been at $40. They do have additional features and mechanics, even if it's a relatively minor one, and you are getting two physical things that are detachable. You're getting the air ride machine and you're getting the character. Granted, Kirby characters aren't all that detailed, so it's probably less expensive to make, but you are getting two of them. If you price in $20 per character and machine, that does add up to $40, which I still think is too much. Makes me question if it was really worth it to have the characters be swappable if it's going to raise the price by that much. Might have been just better to have smaller amiibo that aren't swappable. I mean, it's a cool feature, but is it $50 cool? I'd wager not, from my perspective. I think you could see that $40 price point happening, maybe a little lower, but then you get to the tariff stuff, and that raises it by, let's guess, $10, based on how much the other amiibo went up by. That brings you to $50, which is just a lot for a Kirby amiibo that has a machine with it. But the main event is the character. So this is definitely a bit of a damper on the game, especially because there's going to be potentially even more amiibo, which will likely all be at that price point. So if you were to get all of them, it's going to be really expensive. Already just getting two of those amiibo, the Bandana Waddle Dee and the Kirby, is more expensive than the game itself, which is pretty wild. You do get the physical figure, which is, you know, it has some amount of value to it, sure, but is it really all that much more than, let's say, this Kirby amiibo from the Planet Robobot, which comes on a Warp Star? It's relatively small. I can't imagine the Air Riders amiibo will be that much more detailed. The Warp Star is, has more features on it. It has the boosters. But in terms of Kirby, I mean, there's only so complicated you can get with that. It's a ball with little nubbed arms and legs. And this is, when I got it, 13 bucks. And to me, that's a very easy impulse buy. But you get that up to 50, that's like almost 5 times as much, which is pretty wild. I think amiibo in general have gone from being more products targeted at the masses to enthusiast products, which is fine, I guess. But yeah, they're really just not impulse buys anymore. It's like so much harder to justify getting something like that. And that's unfortunate. Yeah, there's lots of other just unfun pricing stuff like the Virtual Boy shell that you put your Switch into, or your Switch to, being $100. There's a cardboard version for $25, and I'm curious to see whether the Labo VR, which I do have, will work with it. I think it might. There's a decent chance, because I mean, it's the same idea as like you putting the console into a thing with lenses and you're looking through that. So I think it's a decent chance that that original Labo VR will work, even if Nintendo themselves doesn't actually say it. And then Mario Galaxy is really weird, because it's a collection of Galaxy 1 and 2, which is 2 games, and it's $70. So it has less games than 3D All-Stars. And 3D All-Stars, one of them was a 64 game, one of them was a GameCube game, but still very high quality. Not even a native Switch 2 version. It's just a Switch 1 version that gets upgrades if you put it in a Switch 2, which is nice, but that does not make much sense to me. So I don't know what you can blame that one on. But with the Kirby one, I think it's a combination of the raising of amiibo prices, the swappability mechanic, and then also tariffs. So you can put a little bit of blame on our beloved US president for at least $10 worth of that expense. Thanks for that, buddy. I did have a lot of fun watching this direct. So if you want a more positive video, you can check out my reaction. I really did have a lot of fun watching it. Oh yeah, baby. Now we're talking. This is an announcement. But yeah, just a bit of a downer after the fact when you look all this stuff up. Yeah, and I'm definitely getting Kirby Air Riders, but these amiibo, I'm really definitely not getting those day one. I'm glad they're coming out day one. That's nice. Some amiibo recently have not been coming out day one, so that's cool to see they're doing that. If I'm lucky, they'll go on sale at some point, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see. It's a tricky situation here. Probably one of the more expensive times it has ever been to be a Nintendo enjoyer, so that's not ideal.
Hello everybody, I have a quick amendment to make to the video. I looked up some of the current amiibo prices for some of the amiibo discussed here, specifically the Tears of the Kingdom and Street Fighter amiibo, and lo and behold, they're actually going on sale for a bit. The Tears of the Kingdom amiibo, some of them are back down to 20, and the Street Fighter amiibo are down from, some of them are down from 40 to 20, so it does seem like there is hope for these products actually going down in price, which is probably a good thing. I can't imagine that many people are buying an amiibo for $40, so I can kind of see why this might be the case. But yeah, so there is still some optimism left for these going on sale before too long, so let's hope that that happens.
Okay then, I'll see you later. More videos in the future. I got some more fun, goofy stuff in the pipeline that should be less of a downer, hopefully. So look forward to that.